remember when I was a kid, I got into web design by ripping off sites I liked. All you had to do was view source on your browser, and there it was, the code. You could copy paste it, modify it a little.
Yep, I did that shit.
Put your name on it, and like that, it was your site. View source. What if we had that for people? Would people really want to see?
That'd be pretty scary, actually. I mean, here's the problem with this. There are so many people who can be defined by 3 sentences. I had this problem with this to show you, which was delving into some of the same stuff. People are incredibly complicated. They are not, like say a guy likes to he gets off by wearing women's clothes or whatever, that's how he gets off, right? That does not define him. Hi, future me. I think it'd be useful to this thesis, if we want to call it that, to get really specific with a very specific case of a human being everybody's heard of. Benedict Arnold. What's the only thing you think of when you think of Benedict Arnold? Traitor, right? At least if you're American. I don't know, I know there's plenty of people from other countries who watch my videos. I don't know what the hell you guys think. Maybe you've never heard of him. But in America, we think this motherfucker's a traitor, and that's all we think. Well, he was a lot more than that. Did you know that Benedict Arnold had 8 kids? 8 kids! 8 fucking kids! This motherfucker was fucking! Benedict Arnold was face deep in that shit. So, he wasn't just a traitor, he was fucking! Was up in that pussy! At least 8 times, right? He had sex at least 8 times. So, so there's that, right? But there's more to the story of Benedict Arnold. Maybe like within the Mr. Robot situation, they're talking about you view source code and you can see the one thing that defines a person. Maybe all he would see is traitor. But when you see hero, in April of 1775, Benedict Arnold volunteered for service and he participated in the Battle of Ticonderoga. And because of that, he was appointed by Washington to command an expedition to capture Quebec. He marched 700 men all the way up through the Maine wilderness into fucking Canada, what is now Canada. And, in some books it's described as a feat of woodmanship and endurance. He attacked a well-fortified city. Now, he failed. He was severely wounded and the other guy was killed. But he got promoted to brigadier general. So then he constructed a flotilla and destroyed a much greater fleet in Lake Champlain, I don't know. However the fuck you pronounce that French shit. He returned to hero. Now, here's the key part. This is up on the screen here for you. His rash courage and impatient energy had aroused the enmity of several officers. In other words, they were some jealous bitches. So, he was fucking, he was a courageous war hero. And some of the other officers were some jealous ass cunts. And so, they started talking shit about him behind his back. Now, that's going to piss you off, right? Like, you literally get wounded in battle. You've had several successful campaigns, and then you're going to let people shit talk you, really? So then in 1777, Congress created 5 new major generalships. And he was passed over in favor of junior officers, people with less experience and less battle accolades than him. They had 5 fucking generalships, and he didn't get one of those. I'd be a little pissed too. You would too. You ain't gonna tell me. Now, am I gonna betray my country? No. I'm just saying there's nuance to this shit. There's more to the story. He didn't just wake up one morning. You know what? I think I'm gonna betray today. I choose betrayal. Like, no, man, there was some shit to this. In fact, he was ready to quit. Washington talked him out of quitting. Okay, so 2 months later, he repelled a British attack in Danbury, Connecticut, and then he made Major General. But his seniority was not restored. And that's a big deal. My dad got 3 months seniority on everybody else because it's a long story. But essentially, when he went into service, he'd already done 3 months in the National Guard. Even though he went in the National Guard when he was too young, he was like 17. And so it was illegal when they found out they kicked him out. He still had that 3 months of service. They still gave him that seniority, even though he illegally was part of the National Guard. Seniority, and so every year, he would get his paycheck bump, his raise, 3 months earlier than everybody who had went in the same time he did. Because he had that 3 months of service. So the seniority matters, man. In August of 1777, and he commanded advanced battalions at the Battle of Saratoga. I mean, we've heard there's like warships named after these battles. Ticonderoga, Saratoga. These were big fucking deals. He played a major part in these. They're talking about he fought brilliantly until seriously wounded. So then, like, he's all fucked up. He's been wounded several fucking times. He's fucked up. So they gave him command of Philadelphia. Then it sounds like he was just fucking around with women and whores because we know he was fucking. Benedict Arnold was fucking. But he was blowing a lot of money. And here's the thing. Okay, now. So now what do we have? The narrative basically is he's a war hero and people kept talking shit about him. He kept being passed over for rank unfairly just because people didn't like him, you know? So now we're not saying traitor. Maybe the source code would just say war hero, you know? Well, now we come to this part of the story where he's violating state and military regulations to raise money somehow. You know, maybe he was using his, I don't know, I'm not going to speculate. But if I was going to speculate, maybe he was using his rank and, you know, unfairly to impress people to get him loan money. And I don't know. So then the Pennsylvania Supreme Executive Council got pissed and denounced him or some shit. The charges were referred to Congress and he asked for a court-martial to clear his name. So then he gets married to one of his many, many wives. Because this dude was fucking. This motherfucker was like, ah! And a year later, he told the British about the American invasion in Canada. So he started snitching. So now we're saying, is he a snitch? Is that what his source code says? He then revealed he was going to obtain a command at West Point, and he asked the British for 20,000 pounds to betray the post. So, yeah, that's some straight-up treason shit, man. Dude, I can't fuck with you on this. Damn, dude. God damn. Some traitorous-ass shit, boy. Holy crap. So, yeah, so now does the source code just say traitor, like everybody's been saying all along? Is that the only thing there is to him? Okay, so then his British contact, the guy that was, like, meeting with him in secret for all these negotiations and shit, that motherfucker, his name was John Andre. He got captured by the Americans. And it says, and I'd actually seen this in several other sources before I went to the source here, where they were talking about he just left Andre behind. He just broke and ran and left Andre holding the bag. And so Andre got hanged as a spy. I mean, motherfucker, Benedict Arnold left John Andre holding the bag and let that motherfucker get hanged when he ran off. He fucking ran. Ducked and ran. Like, damn, dude. You just gonna leave Andre hanging like this? Literally leave Andre hanging. That's some cold shit, man. So are we saying he's a shitty friend? Is that what we're saying? Like, that's what the source code says? Shitty friend? Because, god damn, man. How you gonna do Andre like that, man? Damn. Andre was your bro, man. You motherfuckers were doing secret negotiations. He was gonna get you paid, man. He was gonna fucking get you paid. You just leave him hanging. Literally leave this son of a bitch hanging. Damn, how you gonna do Andre like that, dude? Like, that's just fucked up. Here's the next sentence. The sacrifice of Andre. Fucking Andre, man. Damn, Andre. Like, you just gonna do Andre like that, dude? The sacrifice of poor fucking Andre made Arnold odious to loyalists. I'm feeling kind of odious right now myself. My goddamn self, man. Damn, dude. So, is odious? Is that his source code? His reputation was further tarnished along with his former neighbors when he led a raid on New London, Connecticut. Man, this dude, Benedict Arnold just ain't shit. So his ain't shit, is that his source code? Finally, at the end of 1781, he went to England. Unable to obtain a regular commission in the British Army, he pursued various business ventures, including, check this out, after 1791, he spent several years privateering in the West Indies. Do you know what privateering means? It means pirating. This motherfucker was a pirate! In 1791, this motherfucker was a pirate. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum-ass looking motherfucker. He was a fucking pirate. So pirate, is that the source code? Because we know pirates are fucking day and shit. I've been saying this from block sales from day one, man. From Jump Street. Pirates, they're rapists, they're murderers, they're thieves, traitors, might as well call them traitors. So, is he a pirate? Is that what Benedict Arnold is? So you see what I'm talking about? This is a very nuanced person who did a lot of things. He was a lot of things in his life. What would his source code be? Would it just be traitor? Doesn't that seem like that's just, given everything I've said to you, and this is the Cliff Notes, believe me. Given everything I said to you, and what he was to different people, including War Hero. Don't forget War Hero. Dude put his life on the line. If he had fucking died at the Battle of Ticonderoga or Saratoga, he would be just considered one of the many American heroes, right? Like, source code isn't that fucking simplistic. I don't think you can. And Westworld is another show that says, oh, every human being can be defined by one line of code. I just don't fucking believe, man. It's way, way more complicated than that. And this TV try. Yeah, I know you're short on runtime. You're short on screen time. You have to dumb shit down. Not maybe not necessarily dumb it down, but just simplify it. I just think this is too simplistic, and it always annoys me and throws me out of a TV show whenever they try to go there. Westworld did it. Mr. Robot's done it. That's a very small aspect. As a matter of fact, I've become convinced because I've thought about this a lot. Sex is like maybe 3% of our. I know, like I make a million sex jokes because I find them funny, but sex is like 3%. 3% of the amount, approximately 3% of the amount of time we're on this earth, we're having sex. If that, it may be 1%. It's a very small percentage of time, you know. Except for Benedict Arnold, hour a day, 3 times a week, whatever. Even if you're a fucking monster, you're like a filthy animal, and you're having sex 3 hours a day. Benedict Arnold was at 8% because that motherfucker was fucking 6 days a week. That still ain't very much fucking time, man. You know what I'm saying? We sleep 7, 8 hours a day every fucking day. So think like we sleep way more often than we have sex, and we spend 90 fucking percent of our time thinking about sex. 3% of the time actually fucking doing it. 90% of the time thinking that's a fucking waste, right? It's a huge waste. So people think that's all it is. It's not, man. Like a lot of my scripts are about relationships between siblings. I find that way more interesting in romantic relationships. Hollywood doesn't agree with me. They just want to see romance. So I mean, I'm just thinking like that just seems very surface level. The shit we were seeing there. Like I mean, you may like to wear women's clothes, but because of the way your brothers treated you, you don't you can't you can't handle when people feel or try to be protective of you, for instance. Like that's a much more interesting psychological issue than wearing women's clothes or like he likes feet or whatever. Shit like that don't tell you shit about somebody. You know what tells you something about somebody? Like the relationship they have with their parents, the relationship they have with their brothers. Do they identify does their job define how they see themselves? That shit's just very fascinating to me. So I don't know, man. There's only so much you can do in a 40-minute show. I'm just wanted to go on a little rant there. Benedict Arnold was up in that shit.